In this video, I'm going to talk about how to use the graphing calculator. So, of course, with the graphing calculator, you could use the calculator to just do general calculations on the home screen. And so, you can add, subtract, multiply, divide, and use exponents. And there's a lot of other features, a lot of other buttons, but the main reason why the graphing calculator is more expensive than a regular calculator is because it will graph. To graph, we're going to be using these buttons right up here. And remember that everything in blue on the second position is controlled by this blue second button. And this is your variable x right here. So see how it starts with x. So to start graphing, we're going to press y equals, and then we can plug in any equation. So let's just start with a quadratic equation. Since we've been working with those, y equals x squared plus 4x plus 4, let's say. So if I punch that in, I'm going to start with x and then squared plus 4x plus 4, and then I can press graph. Most of your graphing calculators are set up with well, the main screen, the standard viewing screen, goes 10 up, 10 down, 10 over, and negative 10 over. And so if you go to Window, you'll actually see that setup. The x minimum is negative 10, x maximum is 10, scale means it's counting by 1, x scale is 1, y minimum is negative 10, y maximum is positive 10, and then again the scale is 1, and you don't need to worry about these other numbers. So that's what the graph looks like, and this is just the color screen edition. That's the reason why I can graph multiple equations. If I go back to y equals, all of my equations have to be set to y equals. If I wanted to graph another equation, that's why they have y2, meaning that's just a different equation. Maybe I have x squared minus 4, and if I type that in, I have x, there's my squared button, or you can use this little caret button for the exponent, minus 4, and then I press graph. I can see how that graph is different than the other one because they're in two different colors. Now, from the graph, you can't really tell what the ordered pairs are. So if you want a list of ordered pairs, you would go second table, and then I actually have this all the way down at some really big numbers here. So if I want to go to the table setup, remember again, these blue buttons, the blue features are all controlled by second. So if I want the table setup, I'm going to go second window. That's taking me to the table setup. Where do I want to start the table? Usually around 0 would be helpful. And how do I want, this triangle means change, how do I want the table to change? I want it to count by 1. So that should be the typical setup, and then you do want it to auto-generate. If you switch that over to ask, then you have to constantly put in the numbers. So now if I enter through this, I want to go back to the table, second graph gives me the table, and now you can see it's starting at 1 and it's counting, or starting at 0, it's counting by 1, and these two y values are the different y values you get for each of those different equations. So y1 was the x squared plus 4x plus 4, and y2 was the x squared minus 4. And then from there, you can, of course, plot the points. If you go up in the table, you're going to see that you get the negative x values, and these are just, again, punching them in. So these are all ordered pairs, meaning that one of your ordered pairs for the first equation would be negative 5, 9, and that would just be a point that you could plot. And on the second equation, negative 5 would be paired with 21. So you can see how they differ. Okay, some other things. We've been talking a lot about factoring. So if you wanted to factor, let's say you had a problem that you were using the AC method. I had a little noise it made here. What happened?